Hi everyone, and welcome to Revv-olution, and I'm your host Renee. And in this episode we have an all-new French sports car for you. The brand is Alpine, founded way back in 1955 and has won in 1970 the 24 Hours Le Mans, including a whole host of other races. We have the all-new Alpine A110, and the signature lightweight characteristic has been achieved with engineering and exceptionally strong aluminum chassis and bodywork inside and outside of the sports car. Yes, this is a sports car, and in most other sports cars you would think there is no boot space, but surprisingly so in the A110 there actually is. For example, in the front section of the car, if you pop it open, there's actually quite a bit of space for you to put things like, in my case, my drone. And in the rear we have another boot which has 196 liters of space, which allows me to fit in my camera bag and other stuff. Well folks, I certainly hope you enjoyed our earlier presentation where we gave you as much information as we could about the Alpine A110. Now it's time for me to get behind the wheel and I can just give you more information for the in-car review. But good news is, I'm not going to be doing it today. I have a special guest on board with me. He's a musician, singer, songwriter, also an author, and also now acting as well. Will you please give a big warm welcome to my brother, my good friend, Mel. Thank you so much, Mel, for joining us.
It's my pleasure being here.
So Mel, are you ready to get behind the wheel of the A110 and give us your thoughts on the car?
Always ready to rock and roll.
Alright folks, let's go. Right folks, we're now in the Alpine A110 and behind the wheel is not me, but my good friend here, Mel, who's going to give us his take on the car. But before we do that, we kind of going to find out more about what Mel has been doing. So Mel, tell us, man, how's life been going? What have you been doing, and how have you been keeping yourself busy?
Busy is an understatement. I teach full-time at the Overseas Family School in the high school music department. That's a lot of fun, gives me great load of pleasure. I also teach at a place called Studio 72. And also I've recently started acting full-time on TV.
Yes, I've seen you on TV, man.
So, of course, I gig as much as I can. Music's always been my first love. So.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk a bit about music. How I've known you my whole life is basically from Mel and Joe. So tell us about Mel and Joe, those days, man, and how's life moved on, and or maybe it's still what's happening with the whole music scene.
Well, Mel and Joe actually celebrated. We celebrated our 40th anniversary in 2010. That's huge concert, sellout concert, and next year's 2020, so that's going to be 50 years in the business.
So the whole music thing is going strong, right?
Yes. It never ends.
And what tells us a bit more about your acting, man? Because you've been doing an excellent job, seriously.
Oh, thank you.
Because when you told me that you never actually got in front of a camera, and to me it's like what I saw on TV was like you've been doing it for like your whole life. Seriously.
I think in that respect, just like with music, I've been very fortunate to be able to be on both sides.
Right.
Like with music, for example, I started off doing recordings, chorus work.
Yep.
Chorus work, and even as a recording artist to a certain extent, and like with film as well. With film as well, I used to work in a place called the Film Unit for 12 years, and I was also running courses there. So it was being behind the camera, so to speak, or behind the scenes production, that actually gave me a lot of insight into what should be done in front of this, in front of the camera. So when I was given this opportunity actually to act, I just sort of tried to pull in all that information that I gathered over the years, even though there wasn't any experience, so to speak, and give it my best shot.
And kind of what Mel told me, right? He said his on-screen persona is nothing like his real life persona, which is to me kind of scary, because when I watch him on TV, he's like never ever smiling. He's always got this really stern look on his face, and with that really cool goatee going on. That kind of added to that whole.
The fun thing is probably that I can be everything I'm not.
So now and the thing is, to me, it's like, hey, Mel isn't like that. So he's a nice, friendly guy, as you can see. And nothing like his on screen. So, okay, so now we are in the A110. Tell us your first thoughts about the interior. What do you think of the car?
Well, it's an experience, believe me. Just getting into the car and looking at the way it's set up, and it's like getting your head around the way things work. It's really state of the art. I have to say that. I've never driven a car like this before, but I certainly hope it's not going to be the last.
No, it's definitely not. We'll definitely get you on Revv to do more drive experiences.
It's so smooth handling. You don't feel any bumps. It speaks lush, if you know what I mean. Everything's so beautiful to look at, really.
And what about the steering? The thing is, the A110 actually has a manual steering. So for most people, manual steering is a bit more tougher to drive. But in this case, because it's a sports car, you need to be nimble. And I think you probably tried it out yourself, but you kind of did a bit of it. And it kind of responds really well.
Yeah, it responds really well. It's like it almost drives itself to a certain extent.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, as I told you earlier, the A110 has different modes for you to choose from. And right now we are in the so-called normal mode, and this basically is an automatic. You get the whole feel that the car is really nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do now is let you actually try sports mode. So if you hit on the sports mode button,
there you go.
You're going to get a whole different beast of a car.
We're going to go into walk speed or
something.
Star Wars, here we go.
Star Wars, yeah, okay. Okay, so now you're in sports mode. So tell me, how does this car actually feel?
It's such a smooth transition that you don't even feel it.
And try tapping on the accelerator and then feel the difference. Yeah. So what happens is in sports mode you get everything changes, the throttle response.
Response changes, even the dashboard display changes.
Yeah, and also you can hear the exhaust. You can hear the exhaust. Sounds a bit more different.
Yeah, and you can feel the power, but without the power overtaking you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you're still in complete. You're still in complete control. It's just that you can feel that this is a little bit more powerful now than what it was before. But the handling's no different. It's still nimble, like what we were saying before.
Yeah, before it was a normal mode. And the other mode, of course, that we have in the car is track mode, which of course we will be trying.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, we'll speak to the guys from Alpine to see if they can arrange a track day. Maybe we get Mel behind the wheel once again. Yeah. So that being said, the Alpine's all about being lightweight, space saving, and they've really stripped the car down to things that you only will need. Even the seats are they comfortable?
They're very comfortable.
Right.
This is definitely not a family car.
Yeah, exactly.
It's built for a family of two.
Yeah, exactly. So
and you wouldn't expect a huge boot space or trunk space anyway.
You've seen the boot, right?
Yes.
And surprisingly, there is a boot.
There is, yeah. Oh, it'll probably fit a nice little carry-on
luggage bag,
and that's about it. No guitars or anything like that. But you can strap that to the top if
you
want to.
Yeah.
So, it's a beautiful car, without a doubt.
So, parting words to those your fans watching you right now on Revv, right here.
Well, I want to say thank you very, very much for all your support, for your love and support, and for being behind me in every project, in every step of my adventure. I want to say thank you to Renee as well for having me.
It's a pleasure, man.
It's a great way to spend the afternoon.
Driving on the road,
and thank you, Alpine.
Yeah, and
it's been a great ride.
Definitely, and for sure, you're gonna definitely get Mel to be on Rev more often, not only on our motoring, but also on the other aspects of
I look forward to that, my friend.
That's gonna, and you're gonna see Mel more often, I'm not sure. So on behalf of Mel and myself, it's Renee signing off.
See you around.
Bonjour, ladies and gentlemen. Time to summarize our drive experience with the all-new Alpine A110. In my opinion, or in Rev's opinion, basically, there's a whole bunch of pros rather than cons about this car. In terms of power to weight ratio, well, this car really beats other more expensive cars, hands down. And in terms of cons, well, the fact that Alpine wanted to cut down on weight, they've actually reduced number of other creature comforts, things like your electric seats, which you'll not be getting in this car. Now let's talk about pricing and how much is it going to cost for you to drive the Alpine A110 in Singapore. On Singapore, on the roads, it's going to cost you $238,800 inclusive of COE with an annual road tax of $976. We want to say a big Revv-olution merci beaucoup to our friends over at Alpine Singapore for allowing us to have the Alpine A110 for our presentation. To find out more about Revv-olution, do remember to check out all our social media platforms, including our YouTube channel. Till we catch you again, this is Renee, signing off.